Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and 2025. Time for a new year, time for a new uranium year. And of course, we want to start the season here with Cosa Resources. And Keith Bodnarchuk, the CEO, is here with us. Hey, welcome. Happy New Year, Keith. How are you?
I'm doing very good. It's great to be back, Jochen.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. And also, I want to say I am a shareholder of the company. I want to disclose that upfront. And as you know me all, I'm a big uranium bull. And we are this since many, many, many years when, the rest was still dreaming about it or even not thinking of it. So Cosa Resources, I think you guys did a fantastic joint venture with Denison Mines, a company we know also very well. David Cates is a great guy. And please give us an idea, because I think you are closing that now, or you have closed it already, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we've recently closed the transaction with Denison Mines, whereby we are we're forming a joint venture on 3 projects with them in the Athabasca Basin, whereby we've acquired 70% of those projects. These are 3 projects in great areas within the Eastern Athabasca Basin. Denison Mines will become a 19.9% shareholder of Cosa Resources, our largest and most strategic shareholder. They're going to maintain a 30% interest in those projects. And they've put up their hand to participate, a minimum of $1 million in future equity financing. So it's really a win-win in a sense that we really bring in that strategic shareholder in Denison Mines, who's really, one of the best development stories in the entire uranium space. They also maintain an interest in us at a corporate level, plus they maintain an interest at a project level. So they get exposure to what we're doing with some of our other projects, but also maintain exposure on these projects that we're acquiring from them. And, these are really, I'd say, tier 1 exploration projects. These are located within that area of the Athabasca Basin that has really been controlled by Cameco, Orano, and Denison. And it's really difficult to get into these areas. And, importantly, the first project would be Murphy Lake North. That one is located within 4 kilometers of IsoEnergy's Hurricane deposit that conveniently our management team discovered in 2018. And so it's an area we're very familiar with. It's a top priority for us. And when we saw an opportunity to get access to that area, once again, we jumped at that opportunity. Another important project, equally important, I say, is the Darby project. It's right next to Cameco's Cigar Lake mine. Cigar Lake is the largest uranium mine in the world. This project goes right up against Cameco's ground. And these are all projects where Denison hasn't had an opportunity to really explore them in a meaningful way, because they are focused on developing their Phoenix deposit and really exploring in that immediate area, because that's where they get the most value at this point. And so when this opportunity arose for us to really come together, and for us to advance these projects we got from them, we jumped at the opportunity. It's really a differentiator for us to have our largest shareholder being that, $3 billion company in Denison Mines that's going to be there to support us, financially, and also corporately and at a project level. And so it is a great differentiator for us. And it was a huge, huge transaction for us.
Okay, super. Let's come shortly to Murphy Lake, because I found that really interesting with the Hurricane deposit. I think Hurricane, as far as I know, is one of the top 3 highest grade uranium deposits in the world. Now you will have with Murphy Lake also to the east.
East, yeah.
You have that, so what would that mean for the future? Do you think you get also such high grades then? Because the drill results I see here in the presentation are much, much lower. But do you think this is like an extension maybe with the Hurricane, or what do you think you could do in the future together here?
Yeah, so exactly. So that will be a top priority for us. We will be drilling in that area coming up here as early as February to get access and get exploring as quickly as possible. And so what's interesting about that area is that, the Hurricane deposit is not a one-hit wonder along that Laroque Lake trend. You'll see there's a whole bunch of other, very significant results that have been produced in the past by Cameco, who's in the area, and other groups. And so, I think you look at the previous drilling that's happened on Murphy Lake North. Yes, it doesn't jump off the page as far as uranium grade, but those weren't drilled into the optimal target. I think we learned, with the discovery of the Hurricane deposit, that sometimes that initial horizon that you think were the where the deposit might be isn't the best horizon to be drilling. That's actually how the team, was able to find the hurricane deposit. And so this is one of the most, called up juiced up areas of the Athabasca Basin. There's a whole bunch of uranium fluid going through that area. And so, we have room on our Murphy Lake North project to, really have some impactful drill results. And that's where we're going to be testing first. And importantly, there's also a parallel trend, a trend that goes exact same orientation as that main Laroque Lake trend. And we have about 7 kilometers of that thing. And it's never been tested. And so it's one of those things where, like I said, this is one of the most important areas of the Athabasca Basin over the past 10 years. And, we're getting a decent sized portion of it with our Murphy Lake North project. So excited. In exploration, you obviously never know what's going to exactly happen. But, anytime you could be searching next to the highest indicated uranium resource in the world, you do it.
I would say yes, because there could be some nice positive surprises, right?
For sure. And it's another thing to note too, is it's also shallow exploration, right? It's 250 to 300 meters down. It's very cost effective. We obviously know the area extremely well, how to gain access. And so this is very cost effective exploration to really test these targets.
And you have the money to do that also for this.
Yeah, we're fully funded for this upcoming drill program. Absolutely.
That's important. When I look at Darby, that looks to me a little bit like, if you are successful there, that could be like a satellite deposit for Cigar Lake, couldn't it?
Yeah, honestly, that's one where Denison acquired it through acquisitions in the past, and they never got a chance to drill it. And you start to look at the previous drilling that's happened there, and what you notice is none of it hit the optimal target horizon of where you should be looking. And so basically all that drilling did was it didn't eliminate any target areas, but it just really paints a picture of what's happening underneath the ground there. And it's one where Denison, it was tough for them to give that one up. It's one where that's why they really emphasize on maintaining, that ownership in it and really being along with us for the ride for advancing this project, because they never got a chance to go and drill it, and they know how strong of potential that project has. And so, like you said, it's in the area of Cigar Lake. Anytime you're next to, the world's largest uranium mine, you do have an opportunity to really make a significant result. And yes, if you were to have success there, I'm sure next door neighbors would come knocking or people like that, right?
Definitely makes sense. Okay, so you have 215,000 hectares altogether as a portfolio, 100% owned, which is great. You are in the Saudi Arabia of uranium, as I call the Athabasca Basin. Now you have Darby, you have also Peckrett, you have Murphy Lake. What is going on Ursa? Because I thought Ursa is one of your really top-notch projects, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. So we had good results there this past year, really. We hit elevated radioactivity deep in the basement rock, and it really shows that we either overshot the optimal target or just undercut where we should be drilling in that area. And when you take a step back and realize we were exploring this massive 60-kilometer trend with limited drilling, limited modern geophysics, and we're able to, drill 6 holes and actually hit elevated, radioactivity, some weak uranium. And, it was a huge win for us. And it is still a priority for us. It is an important project for us. The good news is with the work that we've completed on it, it is protected for the next few years. But, with the low-hanging fruit of Murphy Lake North being right next to the hurricane deposit, you have to go there first. And so that's why, that is where we'll be heading first. Like I said, Ursa remains a top priority for us. We understand the district scale potential of that entire trend. And so we're going to keep that project. And, some of our other projects will also become a bit more prominent as we continue to explore. But like I said, it's one of those things where you always take that approach of drill it and kill it. Keep looking to acquire projects that really lead you towards ultimately making that discovery. It was, people forget, it was the 7th project at ISO where the team ultimately found the hurricane deposit. And so anytime we do have an opportunity, like we do at Murphy Lake and Darby, we'll be heading there first.
Okay, super. Do you have the capacity to drill them all in parallel, or are you doing that staged?
At this point, it looks like it'll be staged. Like I said, the focus right now is just closing the Denison transaction. the Murphy Lake project north is ready to go. We'd look to get to Darby later this year. We do have capacity to potentially do multiple at the same time, but right now, like I said, it makes the most sense just to go to Murphy Lake North first during this upcoming winter program. So really in February of this year.
Okay. What is going on with Orion, Aurora, and Orbit? Because I think those are also, very, very positive projects, right? Because you are next to the Lake Mill, you are with Aurora and also with Orbit. And I think Orion also looks really fantastic to Cigar Lake and La Roque Lake trends, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So those are also terrific projects that are part of our pipeline. I think, we've really set ourselves up. So we probably have, 6 or 7 extremely strong projects that have a lot of potential. Aurora and Orbit, we did airborne geophysics on top of that. And now what we've created is drill ready targets. I think, from end of 2023 into 2024, we really had to advance a lot of our projects with modern geophysics, got in there, did ground surveys. And we're at a point now where we have just a whole bunch of drill ready targets. It's the exact place you want to be, because the biggest catalyst for us is obviously drill success. But it took a year and a half to get a lot of these projects to that level. And so, Aurora, Orbit, Orion, these are all projects that, will be drill ready here. And, after we're able to complete Murphy Lake North, and Darby, these could be projects that we could eventually get to. And like I said, it is important when you are these exploration companies that when you do go and explore, if a project's not showing what you want, you're ready with these next set of targets to ultimately make that discovery. That's what you have to do. You can't get married to the one project. You keep going through these until you ultimately make that discovery.
Yeah, that would lead to the question, let's say you are really successful on several projects. Could you imagine to say, okay, you know what, let's sell something to Cameco, for example, or to Orano, because it makes sense. We can handle a certain amount of projects and let's finance then the next big thing. Or would you say, no, better only a joint venture? We don't want to give anything away.
No, definitely. I think we're open to it. Like I said, we've been building this land package really over the past couple of years, and we've really improved that land package, especially with this most recent transaction. And that's where our priority is going to be with this recently announced Denison ground, plus our few key projects that we acquired from before. And those other projects, if we're not going to be able to go to them and get to them, then we are open to opportunities to joint venture them or create other value accretive ways to unlock value from them, because what the reality is, we want our dollars to be going towards drilling. That's our biggest thing right now. And so that's what our primary focus is. And we don't want to be stuck in a vicious cycle where we're just trying to maintain claims to keep a large land package. The number of hectares we have isn't, a number that I'm certainly chasing. It's one where if we think that there's an opportunity to make a discovery there, we acquired a project. So we are open to moving off of projects that are no longer priority for us.
Okay, super. So I would say the cocktail really looks fantastic. You have the money to do so. You have the drill expertise. You are, as said, in the Saudi Arabia of uranium. So you are the hot spot of uranium. The only thing what we are missing is higher uranium price. What do you think? Why uranium did not really start to move? Because we have the deficit. It looks disgusting for the next years, definitely. I think 60 nuclear power plants are in the finishing for the next 5 to 7 years, and those are big ones. And then the SMRs come also in addition. So that deficit stays. Why is the uranium price not really moving?
It honestly defies logic. Why the uranium prices trickle down over Christmas and into this year. And the fundamentals are as strong as they've ever been. And you continue to hear news flow, especially from the supply side, about the struggles that are happening. Obviously, at Inkai being temporarily shut down.
It's 8 million pounds missing.
Exactly, another large mine. And even if it eventually gets going this year, that's the first part of the year where they've lost that production, and we're in a market where that can't happen from a demand side of things. And so I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the price finally takes off, and we'll wake up one day and it'll be on again. And I think these opportunities, like right now where the price is down and it does defy logic, these are really the opportunities where as an investor you can be strategic about where you put your money and, really have a chance to, it's not too late in the uranium bull market. It's actually very early. And this is where the real opportunity is, I think, to make some serious money over the course of the next few years.
Yeah, absolutely. Super. Hey, Keith, thank you very much. We look really forward because I hope that you can produce in the first quarter, maybe already some good drill results. And then we talk definitely again. But I think, you have all the ingredients for a really successful year and things look really good. And as you said, the uranium market never looked better with the fundamentals. I see it the same way. So really time to make sure to have a look at this fantastic explorer. Keith, thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
Thanks, Jochen. Great chat.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Keith Bodnarchuk, the CEO of Cosa Resources. And honestly, this is an outstanding exploration company with 215,000 hectares of land in the Athabasca Basin, in the neighborhood of all the big boys in uranium here and all the big mines. This is what you really need. And also in the neighborhood of ISO energy, I think there could happen also something. Joint venture with Denison. I mean, what do you need more? The company is way too cheap, to be honest. Yeah, I think the value must be much, much higher. So for you, great opportunity. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us and bye-bye from Switzerland.